welcome. I'm Face Conscious, an artist, designer, and teacher. Here, I will be exploring painting with salt, using a design I created titled Space Fish in Space. First, I drew my design in my sketchbook. I then took a photo and digitally drew around my design. My sketchbook is of low-quality paper. I want to put my design on high-quality watercolor paper. So on watercolor paper, I printed it out. To me, it looks so sharp, and I'm very happy with the results. Before beginning, as I'm using water, it helps to strap the paper down. Here, I have a board. I painted it to protect the wood from absorbing water too. Making sure my paper and board are nicely lined up, I use tape around the outside. This helps reduce buckling and, as we will see later, gives the finished painting a lovely crisp white border, as no paint can get under the tape. When showing my last video, experimenting with salt and watercolor, a student asked me what the effects are of mixing salt into the water first, instead of adding salt after. I love this question, but I didn't know the answer, so it's a good experiment. Here I have some cheap table salt, and I mix it into warm water to help it dissolve. I have some masking fluid too. Just like the tape, anywhere I put it, paint can't get to. So I use dots all over the page to make stars. It's sticky and it can ruin brushes, so I use a blunt toothpick to apply and move the masking fluid on the paper. This is so I can have more stars in my final painting. Wetting the paper to help the paint spread, I want the water to have a dreamy fantasy feel. I sprinkle nice quality salt onto the paint while it is wet. Here I am using water mixed with a lot of salt. I added the salt to the water on the page first and building up the colors, hoping for a spacey look and feel. Notice how the colors move through it. The viscosity of the salty water carries the paint around in an interesting way. To speed things up, I let it dry in the sun. The salt reformed its crystals as they were to begin with, creating a grainy texture. The painting is dried to the touch, and the salt that was mixed into water is not coming off. But I can remove the salt that I put on top of the paint. Now that it's dry, I add another layer, hoping to build up texture. I paint the bubbles pink. First I put white paint down, and then add pink, so that they can look lighter at the top of the bubbles. I add different shades of orange to the fish to give an uneven color, which I really like. Using shades of yellow and orange, I build up layers for the moon. And continue building up layers of salty paint in the background. I am interested to try this technique again using high-quality salt to see how it will form crystals differently. I decided to make the tubing grey and the rim gold. For the grey, I focus on building up layers of shadow, as the white of the paper is used for the highlight. Now that the fish are dry, I add shadows to them too, to make them appear more three-dimensional. For the gold rim, I use light yellow for the highlight and then build up layers of darker yellow and light brown for the shadows. Finishing off with the fish eyes and a bold color choice for the lettering to make it stand out. Now the painting is finished and the paint is dry. Do you remember the masking fluid I used at the start for making stars? I tried to get it off, but the thick, salty layers make it hard, so not much comes off. Now I know that these two techniques may not go so well together. However, I can now take off the tape, and I find this part very satisfying. A nice, crisp, clean border is revealed. A big drawback of this technique is that salt attracts and absorbs water. So when there is moisture in the air, the paint gets wet. This painting will need to be sealed. I will try clear acrylic spray once it's dry again. I hope this has inspired you enough to experiment yourself. If you have any questions or ideas on what to explore next, please leave a comment and remember to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.